I had a client walk into my office last year with $1.8 million in RSPs. He was 71, about to turn 72, and he thought he'd done everything right. Maxed out contributions for decades, let it grow tax deferred, and never touched it. And then we ran the numbers on what his mandatory RRIF withdrawals were going to look like over the next 20 years, combined with CPP, OAS, and some pension income he had coming in. Depending on growth, lifespan, and the province you're in, the projected lifetime tax bill was just over $800,000. He just sat there stunned, because in his mind, that $1.8 million was his retirement fund. But the reality was nearly half of it is going to go to the CRA. And here's the thing. If we'd had this conversation 5 years earlier, we could have cut that number in half. As you know, I'm Danny Perro, Senior Investment Advisor at CG Wealth Management. Thanks for tuning in. If you've been diligently contributing to your RRSPs for years, maybe even decades, you've likely built up a significant balance, and you should be proud of that. RRSPs are one of the most powerful wealth-building tools that Canadians have. But there's a critical mistake I see all the time, especially among disciplined savers who've accumulated large RSP balances. They assume the best strategy is to leave that money untouched as long as possible, let it grow tax deferred, and only take it out when they absolutely have to. And that strategy sounds logical, except it's costing people six figures in unnecessary taxes. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this timing mistake happens, why it's so expensive, and what you need to do before age 71 to avoid turning your retirement savings into a tax disaster. If you find this content valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We read all the comments, we respond right away, so don't be shy. Let's start with what actually happens at age 72. By December 31st of the year you turn 71, you're legally required to convert your RRSP into an RRIF, a registered retirement income fund. And starting the year you turn 72, you have to begin taking the minimum withdrawals based on government-mandated percentages. At 72, that minimum is 5.4% of your RRIF balance. At 75, it's 5.82%, and by 80, you're pulling out over 8%. By 95, you're required to withdraw 20% annually. So here's the problem. If you've got $1.5 million in your RRIF at age 72, you're forced to pull out $81,000 in that first year, whether you need it or not, whether it pushes you into a higher tax bracket or not, whether it triggers old age security clawbacks or not. And that $81,000 is fully taxable income. Add that to CPP, let's say $16,000, and another $8,500 in OAS, and maybe a small pension of $30,000, and you're sitting on almost $140,000 of taxable income. And that income level in British Columbia, you're paying combined federal and provincial marginal tax rate of 43 to 44% on each additional dollar of income. And you're well into the OAS clawback territory. So you're losing 15 cents of your OAS for every dollar over 93,454. I know that's a lot of numbers, but that's not a retirement income strategy. That's forced liquidation at the government's convenience, not yours. And here's where most people go wrong. They wait until 71 to think about this. The single biggest RSP timing mistake I see is this. People spend their entire life working, contributing to RSPs, and they don't touch them in early retirement because they're living off other sources, like pensions and non-registered investments, and maybe some part-time work. Is that you? They hit 65, 67, 70, and that RSP just keeps sitting there growing. And in their mind, that's a good thing. More growth, more compounding, bigger nest egg. But what they don't realize is they're building a tax time bomb, because the larger that RSP gets, the larger those mandatory RRIF withdrawals will become. And once you hit 72, you lose control over the timing and the amount that you can take out. You're stuck pulling out whatever the government tells you to pull out and paying tax at whatever bracket that puts you in. I've seen clients with $2 million to $20 million in their RSPs who could have been strategically converting $50,000 to $60,000 a year in their 60s when they had low income and lower tax rates and full control, but they didn't. And now they're pulling $120,000 a year at age 75, paying top marginal tax rate and losing their OAS. The years between 60 and 71 are your tax window. That's when you have maximum control over your income, your tax bracket, and your withdrawal strategy. And once you hit 72, that window closes shut. Now, this next part is key. Understanding how RRIF withdrawals stack with other income. Let's walk through a real example. Let's say you're 72 and you've got $1.5 million in your RRIF. Your mandatory withdrawal at that year is $81,000. You're also taking CPP at $18,000, old age security at $8,900, and maybe you've got a small defined benefit pension at $25,000 a year. That puts your total income at $132,900. Now let's look at the tax. In British Columbia, once you cross $108,000 in income, you're paying about 43.7% marginal tax. So on the last $24,000, you're paying roughly just over $10,000 in tax on the excess. But it gets worse because your income is over $93,454, you're in OAS clawback territory. And for every dollar over that threshold, you lose 15 cents of OAS. So on that $39,446 above the threshold, you're losing about $6,000 in OAS. So between the tax hit, the clawback, you're effectively losing close to 60% of that top portion of income. You've pulled $81,000 from your RRIF, but after tax, clawbacks, you're keeping maybe $45,000 to $50,000. And that isn't a one-year problem. This is each and every single year for the rest of your life. The RRIF balance might decline over time, but those mandatory withdrawals keep increasing as a percentage. So the pain doesn't go away, it just shifts. Let's see what this looks like over 20 years. I ran a projection recently for a client. He's 71 turning 72 with $1.6 million in his RRIF. Over the next 20 years, based on mandatory RRIF withdrawals and a modest 4% average growth, he's going to pull roughly $2.1 million out of that RRIF. After tax, clawbacks, inflation, he'll net about $1.2 million. So depending on market returns and longevity, nearly $900,000 is lost to taxes and clawbacks over his lifetime. Now here's what makes it even more painful. If he had started converting $60,000 a year from his RRSP at age 63 before CPP and OAS, when his income was lower, he could have drawn that same amount over 10 years, paid minimal tax, and avoided clawbacks entirely. The savings, $400,000 over his lifetime. Same money, same withdrawals, just smarter timing. But he didn't know. And now at 71, it's too late to go back and fix it. Now here's the part that surprises most people. The government designed the RRSP system to encourage you to save, but they also designed the RRIF system to make sure they get their tax revenue back, whether it's convenient for you or not. And if you're not proactive, you're going to pay far more than you ever needed to. Here's what you should be doing instead. Strategic RRSP melting. If you're in your late 50s or 60s and you've got a significant RRSP balance, you need to start thinking about RRSP melting, the intentional, strategic drawdown of your RRSP before you're forced to. The goal is simple. Convert RRSPs funds to taxable income during low-income years, fill up the lower tax brackets, and get that money out before mandatory RRIF withdrawals push you into higher tax brackets later. For example, if you retire at 60 and you're living off non-registered savings or TFSAs, your taxable income might be $30,000 or $40,000 a year. And in that scenario, you could be pulling $50,000 to $60,000 from your RRSP and still only paying 20% to 30% tax. Far less than you pay at 72 when everything starts to stack together. You could also delay CPP until 70, giving yourself 5 or 6 years of low income room to draw down more RRSPs at favorable rates. By the time CPP kicks in at the enhanced amount, your RRSP balance is much smaller, your RRIF withdrawals are manageable, and you've avoided the worst part of the tax pain. So when structured properly, this strategy can save you $200,000, $300,000, even more in a lifetime of taxes. But it requires planning. It requires intentionality. And it requires you to start thinking years before age 71, not the year you're forced to convert. One more thing, don't forget about your estate. Even if you manage your RRIF withdrawals perfectly during your lifetime, there's still a final tax bill at death. When you die, your entire remaining RRIF balance is added to your income in the year of death and taxed at your marginal rate. So if you've still got $600,000 left in your RRIF, when you pass, that's $600,000 of taxable income on your final return, potentially taxed at 50% or more depending on your province or other income sources. Your estate has to pay that tax bill before anything gets distributed to your heirs. If you don't have enough liquidity elsewhere, or if it's not going to your spouse, if most of your wealth is tied up in real estate or other non-liquid assets, your executor might have to liquidate your investments or sell property just to cover the taxes. This is why wealthy Canadians often use life insurance as a tax-efficient wealth transfer tool. The death benefit is tax-free, it provides liquidity to cover final tax bills, and it ensures your heirs actually receive what you intended to leave them, not what's left after the CRA takes their cut. But this is a conversation you need to have now, not after you're already retired, and certainly not after you're gone. At the end of the day, your RRSP is one of the most valuable tools you have for building retirement wealth. But if you don't manage the timing or when you take that money out, it can also become one of the most expensive. Because the difference between strategic withdrawals in your 60s and forced withdrawals in your 70s isn't just a few percentage points in tax. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. It's the difference between keeping your old age security and losing it completely. It's the difference between control and being locked into whatever the government dictates. Financial independence in retirement isn't just about how much you've saved. It's about how strategically you withdraw it. If you want to review your RSP structure and plan and see if you're heading in toward a tax trap, book a time with me using the link in the description below. The time to act is now, because as you know, money never sleeps.